So now moving to solving inequalities. Okay, to solve an inequality, okay, we either divide or multiply both sides by a positive number without changing the inequality sign. Okay, but if I divide or multiply by a negative number, I must change the inequality sign. Okay, so what do I mean? Okay, so if we look at part 1, okay, if x over 2 is more than 3. Okay, if I give you this example of x over 2 equals to 3, then what you do is to multiply the 2 over, right, you get x equals to 6. Okay, so the way you solve it is exactly the same as what you would do, okay, for an equal sign. Okay, just that now you're working with an inequality sign. So when I multiply it over, you get x more than 6. Okay, you do not change the sign, or I do not flip the sign, because it's a positive number. So part 2, 3 and 4 is exactly the same. Okay, you multiply the 3 over, you get x less than minus 9. Okay, for part 3, 5x is more than 3. So same thing, I will divide both sides by 5. I'll end up with x is more than 3 over 5. Part 4, if minus 3 is more than 2x. Again, same thing, I don't want 2x, I want x, divide by 2. Okay, you end up with x is less than minus 3 over 2. Okay, then simplify it, x is less than minus 1.5. Okay, so you realize it looks like I flipped the sign here. Okay, but in actual fact I did not. Okay, I just put the x term on the left hand side and your constant on the right hand side. That's why it looks flipped, but it is not flipped. Okay, do not confuse this with changing the sign. So this is if I multiply or divide by a positive number. Now if we look at what you have below, okay, if x over 2, which is a negative x over 2, more than 3, okay, I have to multiply minus 2 on both sides. This is the scenario where I flip the sign. So originally it was more than, now it becomes less than. Okay, minus 3 over 2. Okay, so same thing, right, in proper fractions you get minus 1.5. Okay, do the same thing for part 2, 3 and 4. Okay, rewrite it first. Okay, so you got minus x over 3 less than minus 3. Okay, you can always do this first if it's too confusing for you. Okay, then you get rid of the fraction. Okay, so multiply minus 3 on both sides. Okay, you flip the sign. So you get x more than 9. Because minus 3 plus minus 3 is positive 9. Okay, third example, same thing. Okay, divide by minus 2. Okay, so what you have here, okay, you got x more than minus 3 over 2. Okay, but see, this is the mistake that you shouldn't make. Okay, so because I divide the minus 2 over, make sure you flip the sign. Okay, so originally was more than, now it's less than. Okay, simplify, you get x is less than minus 1.5. Okay, so sorry, I made a mistake on the top. Okay, this should be multiply. Okay, so this should be minus 6. Okay, lastly, okay, rearrange your term first. Same thing, I got minus 3x less than minus 3. Okay, same, I want to solve for x. Okay, so I'll divide by minus 3. I get x is, flip the sign, more than 1. That's it. Okay, so just an additional rule you follow. Okay, whether you flip the sign or not. Okay, only if you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay, so by right, no such thing as what we call a flip sign. Okay, if you look at this example here, okay, which is what I did for you just now. Okay, minus x is more than 3. Okay, what they did was they times a minus 1 over. Okay, so it becomes x is less than minus 3. Or what they did was they bring the terms over. Okay, so essentially we are bringing x to the right hand side and 3 to the left hand side. Okay, that's why there's a change in sign. Okay, this is the rationale behind it.